The time is at hand. It's time to talk about something that I saw on Netflix. I saw a really, really good documentary about the Mayans and about deciphering the Mayan script, the Mayan code. And it's a reoccurring theme in history that really, really, really pisses me off. And I'm not going to be tolerant. I'm going to speak out against this. But basically, in the late 1500s, early 1600s, um, the reason why translation of the Mayan script was lost is because a Catholic friar, his name's not even worth mentioning because I don't want to honor people like this, um, ordered the destruction of the entire Mayan library of books in the late 1500s. And the Mayan scribes that were actually able to write Mayan script, this was outlawed, and they were forced to learn Spanish. And this is the reason why their language lost, which has only recently been recovered off of deciphering public monuments in Yucatan and Central America. And the, the number one reason for the destruction of all this information was the Christian religion. Christianity as a whole is responsible for the greatest loss of human knowledge in all of history. You go back to 391 AD, the Library of Alexandria, where, a Coptic pope, a self-proclaimed Coptic pope, orders the destruction of the Library of Alexandria, and he's quoted as saying that if any of these documents in the Library of Alexandria coincide with the Bible, then we have no need of them. Or if they contradict the Bible, then it is heresy. And the ancient Greeks had mechanical computers, and what the hell knows what else they had. We have physical evidence that they had mechanical computers, but there was no written record of this brilliant invention. They basically had analog computers that were not rivaled by modern technology until like the mid to late 1800s. And you see this time and time again, the war and intellect. Where I come from, Pensacola, Florida, you see this to a T. They want clone drones, people who think just like themselves. They want to shove their Christian religion down your throat. And that's not to say that all Christians are bad. I'm saying that the root of Christianity is bad. It's anti-intellectual, it's sexist, it's homophobic. It's some of the passages like in the Old Testament are downright scary. And if you look at time and time again in history, like throughout the Middle Ages, I think it was works of Copernicus and other astronomers, where basically anything that contradicted the church was destroyed, and people would be burned at the stake as a witch or a heretic. And more recently, destroying. There was only 4 book fragments of the Mayan library that survived. Fragments of 4 books. So imagine if you had to learn American history off of public monuments. You would get a very slanted view. You wouldn't get a whole picture. You wouldn't have all the fine art and literature. It's just a tragic, tragic loss. Anything that's counter to the Christian religion is considered demonic. If Christians had their way today, your fundamentalist Christians, particularly in the Deep South, they would run a theocracy, and the same crap would happen all over again. It's disturbing that they're teaching creationism in schools. They basically, the war on intellect continues to this day, and the only way to combat it is through education. Education, education, education. And, you look at the Library of Alexandria, like I was saying before, and I'm going to put a link down below. Carl Sagan did an excellent video about the Library of Alexandria, about what was lost. 99% of the books at the Library of Alexandria were lost. Some of the books were copied by monks in the Middle Ages, but basically the majority of information was lost. And there's big historical gaps in our information. And, there's some fragments that survived, but it's mere scattering of what was there. It was probably over 1 million scrolls. It just, it pisses me off, and it makes me sad. It brings a tear to my eye that we're willing to be so blunt and ignorant and cast out anything that contradicts the Bible because it's considered a competitor. Well, truth is a competitor to Christianity. And I'm not saying, like, again, I can't stress this enough because I've been accused of this on Facebook and amongst other things. I'm not against all Christians. I'm against the Christian religion. It is basically, if you know the roots of Christianity, it is the propaganda of a Roman emperor. Roman Emperor Constantine created the first Bible. He created the 50 Bibles, which basically all other Bibles were based on later on. And he wanted a one-state authority of Christianity for political and propaganda reasons. So basically, if you're a Christian, I will argue this to you. Why believe the propaganda of a Roman emperor? And I'm not against you as a Christian. I'm just against the roots of the religion, which are corrupt. And, more people need to come out of the closet about being atheist. More people need to come out of the closet about being non-religious and not be scared. The more people that do this, the more that likely we could turn this crap around. And I can't stress this enough, but I will not be tolerant of people who are intolerant of me anymore. And I will not be tolerant of ignorance. It's sheer stupidity. And enough said. That's my rant. You have a nice day, and I will see you 25 billion years. I will.